and Josh for all.
Hey, buddy.
Put your goddamn headphones on.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Uh-oh. Sounds like I forgot to charge them.
That has never happened to me.
You said this last time.
I don't know how that's possible.
Because I don't use them enough. But you said same exact last time. And I think I reacted like incredulously. I still feel that way. That's a crazy thing to say. You don't know how Eric is going to die. But I get the point.
Using that, is your microphone working, or are you using a different mic?
My settings are on the no, I'm using the Yeti. It's the pattern. There we go. Does that sound a little better?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, you get on the wrong pattern with one of these things, buddy. You get into the wrong kind of pattern. You get into a kind of bad pattern. You know, pattern falls off, if you will. That's not where you want to be.
I don't know if you saw the title for this, Rich and Josh for all. If we were going to start a political podcast, it's definitely going to be called Rich and Josh for all.
Ooh, I like that.
With Rich and Josh for all.
Decision 2024. With Rich and Josh for all. No, it doesn't work. So last night I was not last night, a few nights ago, I was updating. I got a message to update my iPad, right? It's time to update the old iPad. Pop-up message. And it was like it wasn't anyway, it presented me some version of the Apple terms of service and was like, you know, you've already agreed to the Apple terms of service, but just to make sure, it was like a short blurb. And it just got me thinking, like, what do you think is in the Apple terms of service at this point? Like, what? God only knows what must be in that thing. Like, what things we're agreeing to, like, and then I started thinking about the kind of asshole or assholes who write those things. What do you think they're like? Is it like a bunch of people correcting each other in a circle saying, actually, technically, the user can't do that because they already agreed not to? Like, are those the most horrible people on earth?
Yeah, well, they're not. They're no friends of mine, number one. But I just imagine endless 30-person conference room meetings.
Yeah.
To discuss a specific sentence.
Right.
In the Apple terms of service.
Right.
And then I don't want to, it's at this point, I'm sure it's not so much what you can't, well, you sign away everything and you give them access to everything. That's basically what it is, right?
In exchange for not having to read the terms of service.
Right.
What a genius
to use their product. What are you going to do?
Yeah, to use their product, but like it's brilliant. They're like, hey, you have to agree to this. No human being has ever been able to physically get through reading this, even a page of this, but you have to agree to it to use this thing that has become indispensable for your life.
Yep. That's how they get you hooked. Now you got to agree to their terms of service, just like every drug dealer. They get you hooked on the product, and then you got to agree to their terms of service, whether you know it or not. That's what life is, man. Just one big terms of service agreement.
Man. Amen. Really is. You either agree to those terms or you don't.
They're all service terms that you either agree or don't agree with.
Yeah.
Like stealing a car. That's against the terms of service.
Right.
You can go to jail for that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's a clear violation of the TOS.
The
Can't steal a
toss.
car.
They call it the toss in the streamer community. The terms of service are obviously a big deal.
Do they really
People
call
get
it the toss in the streamer community?
Toss. Yeah, TOS.
That's terrible.
I know. I love dipping my toe you know this, but every once in a while when obviously I like watching people play video games, but I almost like hear them talk about the business of streaming
Yeah.
more because they are oftentimes complaining about it, which is funny.
So, if I understand correctly, there is no formula, but about 1 million views equals $1,000.
I have no idea. Oh, you're talking about for YouTube videos? I have no clue.
Or Twitch streams or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, just the rough equivalency is you have to have you know, if you're not operating in the millions, you're not making enough money to even consider sustaining yourself.
Well, I think the difference in when you're live streaming, you get subscriptions. You know, YouTube's different because you can subscribe to channels for free. When you're watching Twitch, you can subscribe specifically to that channel and it costs money and the streamer gets a cut of it. I think it's like $5 and the streamer gets
no one's is
$2.50.
free.
Everyone's is free, but if you don't want to watch ads,
Right.
you can't. There's the thing that sucks about Twitch is you can't blanket subscribe like you can on YouTube for $13. You got to subscribe to each individual channel for $5. So,
and it is the experience with ads as intolerable as YouTube is with ads.
you know, it's funny because no, it's better. It sucks when you jump into a stream and there's an ad immediately. But then the streamers themselves have agreements with Twitch to run a certain amount of ads per hour, we'll say. And so what they'll do is they'll play games straight through for 54 minutes. And then they themselves want to take a break. And they'll just say, hey, I'm taking a break. I'm going to run ads for 6 minutes. I'll be right back. And then, so then you like do whatever you got to do, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like it just jumps in the middle of gameplay. They can schedule it, which is nice. YouTube, it just seems to just fucking, I mean, I don't know. You convinced me, and it was one of the better decisions I've ever made is to get YouTube Premium, not worry about ads.
It's impossible to describe how big of a difference it makes. The only thing that comes to mind is it's a seamless experience versus a highly interrupted one. I think on YouTube, the content creators get to pick how much they want to monetize, because you see some videos that have a lot of views where it's like every minute and a half there's an ad break. But it's been so many years since I've seen an ad on YouTube, Rich. I wouldn't even know what they're doing these days over there.
I would sign us up for as many ads as possible if we ever had more than 6 people view a video.
Definitely. Why not? Fuck them. What did they ever do for us?
That's right. That's right. What are we waiting for? We're trying to get rich.
I don't need their shit. Watch these ads, bitch.
Yeah, and then watch these ones. Yeah. You watch all of these. So what's up with Brandon Ayuk?
Oh, okay. So are you caught up?
So here's what I know, and then you fill in the blanks.
Yeah,
I'm sure you know more than me. I had heard that they were going to maybe trade for him. That's been talked about for months, right?
Right.
Like even since the end of last year.
Right.
And then it kind of died down. And then you told me to get up on it.
I love this is the rich POV of the Brandon Ayuk trade.
And then I did a little bit. And so what I understand is that San Francisco said, go ahead and try to find a suitor. And he did, but the two teams that were going to give him the most money,
practice, and they were like, "Nah, you don't need to come in here. You can go find a trade."
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So they basically are forcing him out at this point.
I think they're not standing in his way. I think they're aggressively not standing in his way.
Okay. They're aggressively passive. I get it.
Yeah.
The aggressive passive, the much less
Much
used
ballyhooed. Yeah,
form of confrontation.
that's
And
right.
passive aggressive,
That's right.
aggressive passive. So,
Yeah.
so is the idea that they don't want him to get hurt in practice?
No, I think the idea is that they want him out of their fucking building and team.
Well, okay. So then what I found was I can't remember it was the Patriots and the Browns, maybe,
Patriots and the Browns, yeah.
and he doesn't want to go to either one of them, and he effectively has a no trade clause in practice because he can determine whether he wants to sign an extension because this is his last year, right?
Correct.
Okay. So if he does extension, obviously no one's going to trade for him, or at least trade enough for it to make sense
So
for
I'm looking
49ers to do it. And so wait, so let me just finish.
Yeah, go
So those two teams, and then the Steelers came in with a little bit less, and he's not saying no to the Steelers. But at the same time, the 49ers are like, well, listen, we'll give you a little bit less than the Steelers to just stay here, and we can just call it good, and you don't have to move your family across the country and live in Pittsburgh.
Right. Yeah, that's a huge part of it. I think that anytime there's two options and one of them is far easier for everyone than the other, that's the option that's going to happen most of the time. But
Right.
so the Niners want to keep him, but he's not going to be signing. Ayuk isn't going to be signing a 5th-year option once a long-term contract. Niners didn't meet his asking price, so the guy with the no trade clause requested to be traded. And that's when they were like, yeah, we don't need to practice. Go pursue your trade. And you're right. The Patriots, Browns both offered more than the Steelers have offered and the Niners have offered, but he didn't want to go there. Clue number 1. Then last night,
Breaking news.
Steelers and the 49ers announce or leak or whatever. And throughout this whole thing, there have been leaks back and forth. Like I've never seen a trade scenario fraught with so much drama. They are leaking things back and forth, blah, 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 blah. And last night it came out that the Steelers and Niners have agreed to terms. It's just up to the Niners to say yes or Ayuk to say yes. But the Niners have also improved their offer for him to re-sign, which is his preference and has been his preference all along. Now, we don't know if that's true yet, but that is what it seems like. And it seems to be an absolute masterclass in player leverage. If he used the market to assess his value, knowing he's going to sign with San Francisco the whole time, just for 3 months, just to get the price up a few million, like, wow.
Yeah.
His agent's got some chops.
Yeah. That's a ballsy move, but
It really is, man. It's so ballsy that it seems kind of dumb. Or
well, it's not. I mean, dumb for what perspective? The player's perspective?
from the 49ers perspective. If you know you're going to pay him this whole time, what the hell have you been doing? Like, this can't be good for the team, can't be good for morale, can't be good for him, can't be good. Who wins in this scenario? Like, so you finally signed the guy, unless you knew he wanted to stay, and you were like, okay, we'll play along with your little charade. Go ahead. Yeah. And then they leaked last night, hey, we've got to deal with the Steelers just to light a fire under him to get it to sign their offer.
Yeah, let's go. Get your ass in the practice field 4. Yeah, it's every time there's something like this happens, it always comes back to the NFL. It just, this, I've said this before. It always seems like there's so much unnecessary bullshit that goes on with the NFL. Like just down to how many coaches they have. They have coaches for everything. They have quality control assistants. And then they could have just signed this guy for whatever they're probably going to sign him for. But they went through all this just to end up in the same spot and maybe hurt his feelings a little bit, which is just insane. It's
or
stop.
or not. Maybe all he was looking for was just the proof that they loved him. And maybe this is going to be one of those bittersweet endings that
I
that
bet
everyone goes
who's the
home
coach?
happy.
Kyle Shanahan has
Yeah.
on in his office. He's got a motivational poster and it says, "If you love something, let it go. If it's meant to be, it'll fly back," or something.
Bet he's sleeping in that office
Yeah,
because he has
that's right.
to. How else are you going to get through that much film? You know
How else are you going to
know,
work 23 and a half hours a day unless you live 15
30-minute
minutes away?
commute each way? You know what I call that? Film session that didn't happen.
Yeah, call that laziness. Move closer. You dedicated to your work, to your craft, or not? Get the quality of control assistant in there working
There's a great
18
video
hours a
that I
week.
saw, from Antonio Brown himself. Which, by the way, Antonio Brown's Twitter is just so unhinged. I don't know if you follow it at all or if he does the same thing on Instagram. But
Yeah, I've seen a
yeah,
few things.
he's just. I've kind of come full circle on AB. I now appreciate what he's bringing to the world. So he reported last night that Brandon Ayuk is only going to be traded to the Steelers. Source: Brandon Ayuk. Calls it CTE ESPN. So he posted something like I highly recommend watching about him talking about Tomlin. Do you see it?
No,
Oh man,
I'm sure it was great.
Yeah, because he's like barely a human being. He's such a difficult man to understand. And it also shows you why these guys love Mike Tomlin, like what he is to them. It's interesting.
Oh, so it's complimentary of Mike Tomlin.
Incredibly complimentary, sentimental, sweet. Talks about him like he's his father. And he gives an example about, when AB kind of recommitted himself to being a father. And I don't know, whatever. This is Mike Tomlin talking, right? So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He said, Antonio Brown was like, I called him and I asked him what I should do with my son for Easter. And Mike Tomlin was like, get him a suit, take him to church, and then bring him to our house afterwards. And we're going to do a big egg hunt with all the kids. And he kind of shaped him. He helped him become a man. And Antonio Brown was a 6th rounder, right? No one was expecting him to be a superstar, but he became a superstar. I don't know. It was really cool. We don't get to see much about Mike Tomlin. All we get to see, and after watching that, I get so angry when people call to fire the man for not understanding what he does. He's a cool guy. He seems like a real good dude, like a kind of guy that anyone would be crazy not to want to play for.
I agree. I always liked him. He's never in the news for the wrong reasons. Even from a coaching perspective, like he's never fighting with players or making something, I don't know. He always gets a bad rap. And I think we both have an idea of why, but it's just, what else do you
do himself
want?
Any favors?
Yeah. I mean, but that's not his job to be let you in on his personal life.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
But he hasn't won a playoff game in what, almost 20 years?
No.
At this point? No, it's not that many.
7,
10
8 maybe. I don't even think it's that many. 10 years would be 2014. Oh man, maybe.
Let's fucking look it up. What are we
Yeah.
doing here? We're connected to the world web.
So the asking price for Ayuk, I mean, it seems like the whole thing was a farce, but if maybe that's just part of the strategy, who the hell knows at this point? There's been so many goddamn twists and turns. I'm glad that you're caught up and invested now, so that you can go on this ride with me. But at one point, it was leaked that they wanted a second, a third, and Alex Highsmith or something. Like the asking prices that they've been leaked to the press have been insane. What do you think is a fair price for Ayuk? What would you pay if you?
I don't know that much about him, man. I got to be honest.
He's a stud.
I don't know how. Okay,
He was on my fantasy team
So-
last year, so I know a little bit about him.
Yeah. You're also
He's the best wide receiver on San Francisco, numbers wise.
So how much better is he than anyone on our team at wide receiver?
Significantly. He would be the best wide receiver in a Steelers uniform since, AB, I guess. Yeah, it'd be a big upgrade, huge upgrade. We'd go from one of the worst receiving duos in the league to one of the best.
Okay. So maybe I don't know I don't know. I don't know what that means. The second rounder would be awesome, right? Like second and third rounder
That's what I was thinking.
Next-
second and
next
third.
year.
Yeah. I mean, that's a
Or-
big haul, though. If you look at what we've
Third.
done in the second and third round over the last decade, it's been pretty.
Yeah, but what
impactful.
do we need to do next year? I mean, I get there's always shit going on, but like,
Got to keep your first
You
for a
trade-
quarterback.
right. So you have that. You're going to need to trade up if you want to get a stud quarterback next year, probably.
It's true.
So, but I don't know, man. It's like I was talking about this with a friend of mine. I was like, man, he's from Pittsburgh as well. He lives down here. Like, why does everyone think the Steelers are going to suck this year? You keep seeing that.
Yeah,
Where
Vegas
what,
odds are low.
what position group is worse than it was last year? Maybe wide receiver.
Wide receiver, definitely. That's the only.
Well, I
big
think you get
downgrade.
some fucking Deontay Johnson sucked, man. He was terrible.
He wasn't.
Addition
though.
by subtraction for him. Seriously.
He was
okay.
frustrating, but he wasn't
Let's-
terrible. And he
I'll
caught like
give you that one.
110 balls, so like that, or maybe not 110, but
There's
a
no
lot of
way.
receptions. yeah,
Penny
probably
didn't
86.
complete 110 balls.
No chance.
So tell me which position group is worse this year than it was last year.
Yeah, you can't. It's a good point. It's a really good point. They have upgraded the team, and they went what?
They made the
10,
playoffs.
10 and 7 last
9-7
year.
or 10-7, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know how
pretty
many
good.
games they play these years.
Yeah, it's 17. It's weird. Right? The math doesn't math for me. It's like too confusing. I've been doing 16 game records for a
I know.
long time now, and I don't want to have to fix. So, yeah, 10 and 7, and they got better in every area. And like, I don't know. It's just like the more separation we have from Kenny, the more mystified I am by what happened last season. 10 and 7 with that Marmaduke, that Mamaluke.
Well, he didn't play all of them. Remember? Mason was running
no,
the show
no.
at the end of the season.
Oh, I thought
Last
you were
quarter of
referring
the
to
season.
the Mitch
Oh,
experiment.
that happened for
yeah, dude.
what, a quarter and a half.
Mason was great. Mason showed you what this team should be, right? Which is
Well,
10 and 7,
yeah.
right? Like it's a really good defense and mediocre quarterback play. I think people are expecting more of the same, and a few balls don't bounce our way this year. That's my guess.
Well,
but yeah, it doesn't make a ton.
I
of
don't-
sense.
Okay. Yeah. So I think they're going to be great. Not great, but I think they're definitely going to make the playoffs.
They also have
my
a
bet.
bizarrely, weirdly hard schedule. Have you seen their schedule?
Yeah.
It's insanity.
Yeah, I think we went through it and we
Oh, that's
picked,
right, we did.
wins and losses.
Yeah.
17-0.
That's right.
So yeah, I guess going back to what you said. Excuse me. The idea of getting rid of draft picks matters more when you are sure that you suck. And I don't know that they suck for sure, right? Like if you have a second and third rounder, those are nice to have, but at the same time, when your team's good, you got to trade those away to get the last piece.
Yeah, it's a good, well said.
I mean, you're going to draft a second or third rounder, so then just draft the guy that you're going to have for 5 years or whatever his contract's going to be. I mean, just pretend like you're drafting him. He costs a
I
lot
can't
more.
tell if if they were 10-7, if they're not having losing seasons because Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan are willing that into existence, or if they're caught in this like mediocrity loop, right? Where they never are going to have a high enough draft pick, or they haven't had high enough draft picks to really make an overhaul to the organization. Enough players want to play there that we can sign good free agents. I don't know. Is it this like combination of ingredients that's coming into that's creating this mediocrity gumbo?
Yeah.
Where like we're just gonna be 500 in perpetuity. There's no way to break out of that unless you have one freakishly great season or one terrible season. Like they almost need to have a bad season.
Yeah, right. Because you got to have the best quarterback you can possibly get, right? You got to have the stud.
I think we do. I think we do have the best quarterback we could possibly get.
Well, no, that's not true. I mean, you could have drafted Jaden Daniels, right? Or you could have drafted Caleb Williams. I don't know if any of those guys are going to be good, but they weren't better than Kenny. You don't want to draft in a quarterback at like 20, pick 22 in the first round. It's like so
doesn't
stupid.
Have a very high success, dude. Drafting a quarterback at like 6 doesn't have a very high success.
Right.
Yeah, but that's my point.
You know why?
Like,
you know why?
Keep getting mediocrity.
You know why? Because there aren't 5 teams who finished the worst 5 records in the league who already have a great quarterback. That just never happens.
Wait,
they might have a guy that if you draft a quarterback at 6, name one team in the league with an amazing quarterback that sucked. And I'm not talking about a quarterback that they drafted
Deshaun
last
Watson,
year.
The Browns.
Is he great?
No, you're right.
But like if you were Trevor Lawrence isn't great. He just you're muted. You muted yourself. Now you don't have the mic connected. God damn it. Get a longer cord, dude. They're fucking free.
And I know it just takes a second to fix. Okay. You need to be patient. Yeah, I should get a longer cord. You're right. You should be shaming me for that.
You should put that on the baby shower registry. A longer
it's for the baby
USB cord.
Okay, so name a great quarterback that had a bad season. Is that the question at hand?
No. Name a quarterback on a team. Name a great quarterback on a team that fucking picked in the first 5 slots in the draft.
Great quarterback on a team that picked in the first 5 slots.
Let's just see NFL draft.
Didn't the Chargers have a high pick this year? They have a great quarterback. Or, jury's still out on Daniel Jones. I think he's actually really good. I'm a Daniel Jones advocate, but no, I guess he doesn't fall into that category.
So so this past draft, 3 quarterbacks in the first 3 picks, and then the Cardinals picked Marvin Harrison Jr. not because they have Kyler, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's great, but he's good.
He's okay. He's cheap still. I think he's still on his rookie contract.
Is he? Yeah.
Then the Chargers at 5.
Whittle guy.
The Chargers at 5.
Yeah, the Chargers. Okay, so that's 2 examples.
Is Justin Herbert great? I don't know.
He is, yeah. I think he's widely considered to be a top 10 in the league, maybe top 5.
Okay. Well, then maybe I'm not. I'm just saying it doesn't have. Okay, so then if you're at 5,
those are both from trades.
So are they?
So. Oh no, maybe not.
Picks?
Maybe the Chargers finished with that bad of a record.
That's true.
Well, if that's the case, then I take back what I said about Justin Herbert, unless he was hurt. But that's when it would happen, right? Because they both were. Herbert and Kyler were both hurt last year. Wasn't like every quarterback in the league hurt last year?
I remember it being one where it just seemed like a lot of guys were. Sore. Yeah, no, I typed in 2024, and I guess that's the other thing that always throws me about the NFL is that the 2024 season feels like every other sport's already done 2024,
That's right.
and then now the NFL starts 2024.
That's right. Yeah, it is. And the Super Bowl will be in 2025. There's just a lot of things that they're still not getting right. All right, so are
The
you looking at the
Chargers were
standings?
5-12. Yeah, Chargers were 5-12. Here, I'll show it.
5. Yeah, I want to see. Okay, so then he definitely was hurt.
Was he?
Justin Herbert, yeah, he had to have been.
You look that up. Justin Herbert injury history.
Yeah, Steelers were 10-7.
Why is it showing me every game they've played? Google's, man, this is crazy. You just keep scrolling and it just shows you every game continuously. I'm down to like November 12th, 2017. They lost to the Jaguars in overtime.
You know how rare
It's
it
just
is for a website to, like, if I'm looking at box scores or stats, like ESPN
Yes.
is the worst place to do something like that. Would you agree? Like a player profile, stats, box
Yeah,
score.
no. The baseball reference, football reference sites are so
those
much
are great
better.
for looking back, but like, what about a live game or a game that happened today?
So
Where are
Herbert
you
played
going?
this game. Oh, a live game or a game that happened today? I
Yeah,
guess
he played 13
ESPN.
games. Oh, so I
212
used
yards.
the what used to be Yahoo Sports. Maybe it's still Yahoo Sports. Yeah, it is Yahoo Sport, the Yahoo Sports app. It is the only. It's the best. It's the best. Their fantasy app is great, and their sports app is great. It's this little guy, the purple S. See it?
Okay. Yeah.
Highly recommend. Highly recommend. Like, it's really fun for. Like, sometimes I actually prefer to follow a game along through the text. Have we talked about this?
Yes.
Because during the in between plays, you can kind of like go deep on stats. I don't know. I love doing that. I think it's so much fun.
Can we go ahead and talk about the guy that played when Justin Herbert got hurt? Easton Stick. That's not a real person.
Sounds like a little league bat.
Tough year for Easton.
Dad, I want the Easton stick.
Oh, he's playing. He's still on the team.
$300.
The Easton Stick. But none.
Yeah, like sometimes it's hard for me to keep track of how teams are doing, and like the Chargers are just. I have no attachment to this team. I have
Right.
no interest. So like, I don't know. I thought they were good. I thought Justin Herbert was good. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean,
got Easton Stick.
whatever. You got Easton Stick
So-
there ready to go. Oh,
The other reason
What
is
happened here?
because I think people just have a burning hatred for Russell Wilson. That's another reason the Steelers are being underestimated.
got it. Well, I guess so. I don't know. I just think that they're going to be better than they were last year. I don't know if that means winning a
How could
playoff
they
game,
not
but
be? How could they
Right.
not be, man?
all
Like,
those
that's
second
crazy.
year guys had great rookie years, and you hope that they can all get better. I always think there's a big jump between your first and second year,
Yeah.
just because
Like
the game
Pickens
slows
last
down a
year.
little bit.
Yeah.
You get a full year of seeing how you need to train. And these guys are all literally, I mean, they're literally professionals. So it's not like they're young usually, so they don't have a lot of things pulling them, like family stuff. They don't have a bunch of, they don't have kids sometimes.
Yeah.
They can focus specifically on getting better.
And if they do have kids, they have the money to purchase support so that they can focus on their craft. There's a lot of advantages here.
Sure. But at the
Pickens
same
made it.
time,
Yeah. So
You can-
who's going to make that leap then? Keanu Benton. That's one.
Joey
Jr.
Porter. And Nick Herbig, right? Or is it the other they need to get rid of one of those guys. I don't care which one at this
They
point.
probably will. Your wish will probably be granted soon because Nate had 2 fumbled snaps in the last game.
Nate. Get rid of Nate. I'm sick of
Nick is a beast.
Are they related?
Yeah, they're brothers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude. Remember, like we have the Watt brothers, although they've been broken up. The Herbig brothers, the Hayward brothers, and I think there's one more. It's weird.
Yeah, get rid of
Peyton Wilson, dude. Holy shit. This is my guy now.
Did you watch the game?
I want him to be our guy.
I don't have a guy anymore.
Well, I think that this is the right person for you then.
I'm not having guys anymore. I'm old enough to not have guys.
I think it's about time that you let another man back into your heart. And that man is number 41, Peyton Wilson. Would you like to see some game film?
Sure. While you're pulling that up, I was in Pittsburgh last weekend and my aunt said her favorite episode of us doing this, she watches sometimes, was the one where you tried to buy an iPhone and you had to ask Allison what the password was, what her password was, and you couldn't do it. They were cracking up.
Ask Allison what her password was.
You had to ask Allison what her password was in order to try to buy it, and you couldn't.
Why would I need Allison's password? That's weird.
I don't know. You had to get in touch with Allison. It was like I don't know, it's a credit card thing.
Yeah.
All right, make that bigger.
The title is Steelers rookie Peyton Wilson is a ballistic missile.
To another one of our film reviews today, we are talking Steelers rookie linebacker Peyton Wilson.
Do we want to listen to this Joker?
Started his career in his first preseason
Yeah.
game. He highlighted exactly what he's going to bring to the Steelers defense, and it's a lot of great playmaking ability. We've got a great set of cut-ups to highlight everything Wilson will do. As always, if you appreciate this content, give us a like, give us any comments with any feedback.
I mean, that was a hell of a play right there.
Ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, we're going to open up the run defense.
He
There's
like doesn't
Wilson right
have
there,
both
linebacker,
knees or
number 41
something.
for you. So the Houston,
Yeah, he's got
they're going to be
elbows
running kind of
for
a
knees.
zone concept here to the right side of the offense, the left side of the defense.
Heart is mad at
they're
his
gonna bring the
kidneys.
fullback in motion here, and he's going to
Something.
lead and kick out the end man on the line of scrimmage. These two guys are doing a zone double team.
Is that what it
here.
is?
We're getting
Is his
good sort
heart
of
mad at his
backside cutoffs
kidneys?
everywhere else.
His
Basically, the whole structure
yeah.
here is to get a seal here on the defense as best you
He
can.
uses his
Getting
eyes to
seal here,
smell.
right?
That's a
the key
problem.
thing. These two guys here,
You're overloading the
handle
eyes.
99, and of course Peyton Wilson right there.
Unutilized
Wilson then has to
nose.
beat this block. It's critical. If he gets stuck inside or he gets sealed, if he gets walled
Low
off,
right.
this is gonna be a
nose
huge
utilization
play.
rate. I'm
And the
bored
running
with
back
this.
can just
Let's
cut
go
off
ahead and mute
block
this.
right here, right?
Mute this
So
guy
linebacker jumps outside,
Yeah.
running back can go inside.
using
and vice
Microsoft
versa.
Paint.
It's a lot of pressure on rookie.
Whatever. You get it.
Yeah.
Peyton Wilson, get excited.
Well, let's see him make this play. This is
Let's see if he can be our guy. Now you see here,
yeah.
he's going to try to run at number 31, and these other guys in the white are trying to prevent him from doing from completing his objective. But 41, you can see here, he gets that inside leverage where he gives himself the option to either shoot down the gap or curl around the B gap.
Let's see the objective of a football game is to push the guy with the ball down. You see people pushing each other a lot. That's the name of the game. And so here what you see is Peyton Wilson looking to push while other people are pushing him, and everyone is pushed.
So let me rewind that again. You see how he's being pushed. See, it's almost like there's two forces pushing against each other.
What other? I mean, the NFL with their rewind. They
The all
rewind
22 footage, man. People, these YouTube creators pay for this footage.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. You can get us. We could get a access pass, whatever. Battle
Can you
pass.
watch games
122
live that
battle
way, or
pass. No, and
Battle
it takes
pass.
like a few days to come out.
that's fucking dumb.
Yeah, I agree.
There was a. Oh, but by the way,
Dude, if I could watch
here's
games
the-
all 22, you know I'm the biggest advocate for that. I would have
I know
signed up
you
for that in a heartbeat.
I agree. And
These
you know what
three
I was
guys-
watching? Yeah, we've seen like man, how many times does he got to? This is what I mean, man.
Well, it's preseason. There's not a lot of plays.
The NFL, they're just constantly looking for ways to just take time, spend time.
That's right.
We were in Pittsburgh, and then we went to Bedford to play golf, and it rained in Bedford from that tropical storm or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was on the putting green, and a group had just teed off, and
When was this? Last Saturday?
yeah,
Yeah.
Sunday,
Yeah,
actually.
I played it last Saturday. Yeah, and it had like just dried out. Or
Yep.
not dried out, but it just like stopped raining and the sun was out.
yeah, it was a really nice day. But anyway,
A
so
muddy
the group
track.
tees off, they start driving on the cart, and they stop, and a guy gets out, and he goes, he yells back to the starter. He goes, "Hey, is it cart path only today?" And the starter goes, "Yeah, it's cart path only." I was like, "That's awesome. I'm not gonna forget that." Cart path only.
Is it car
Only?
path only? Yeah, it's car path only. Except for on 6 and 9.
All
Yeah, you
par
can take
threes
the
are
car
always
wherever
cart
yous
path
want.
only. Cart path only.
Got a sing
kept
song
saying crick.
going to it.
He's like, the crick. He talking to us before we teed off. Yeah, he said crick was up real high, and so it's cart path only.
Yeah, that
I
crick
don't know
was
if
up.
you heard.
That crick was running way too fierce to not be car path only.
Yeah, you see it. It is up real high, and you can see it. So just keep carts on paths, and you can have fun out there.
Car path only.
Cart path only.
It's such a good Pittsburgh phrase.
Cart path only. Anyway,
Hey, by the way, this watch, best
Oh, yeah,
decision
you
I've
got
ever
your watch.
made.
it is,
so-
huh?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. The battery
Please.
life, as you were saying, although I kind of have to go out of my way to not charge it every day, right? In my weekly routine, like typically I'm ending the day next to my charger on my bed, whatever.
Mhm.
But lately I've been wearing it to track my sleep, and I can just keep wearing it for a few days. But it's not only that. So it's bigger and it's a flat surface, right? The face of the watch is flat. Par example.
What shape was the face of the watch on the other one?
Rounded. So you see
It was rounded. What?
Yeah, it's very rounded. So the screen kind of
Rounded.
Yeah, it's kind of rounded. I don't know how else to describe it. This is the first
So-
time I felt like I have a computer on my wrist. The extra
You made it.
battery, the processor, it's like the progression of upgrades. I can use this instead of my phone if I want. And that's not something I felt about the other one. It just didn't have
In
enough
what way?
horsepower.
What are you
What way
using
didn't I feel
that
comfortable with the other one?
instead of your phone?
Yeah, so like I'm going to Whole Foods, or I'm going for a walk, or I don't know, maybe I'm going out for a Saturday drive and I don't want to be bothered.
But I don't understand, what tasks are you completing with your watch that you don't have your phone for?
That I
So
wouldn't need
when
my-
you go to Whole Foods.
texting, emailing, Slack, phone calls, reminders, weather, a few headlines maybe if you're feeling spicy.
So you're writing emails on your watch.
Well, dictating them, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean, nothing, just like, if you absolutely have to respond to something, you can, is what I mean.
Okay.
I'm not like hammering out emails to prospects about important items, but I guess I
gotcha.
could. I just probably wouldn't want to. Yeah, but the perception you're coming from is how I felt too. Like on my previous watch, it didn't feel like those things like should even be remotely considered. But on this one, it feels like, okay, yeah, maybe. Like, for example, I am at 351 feet of elevation right now. I didn't know that before. You try raising a
No.
kid without that kind of information. Good
Yeah,
luck.
true.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
Elevation needs to be top of mind. That is true.
I've got the weather every hour from now until noon just right there waiting for me.
That's nice. Congratulations.
This guy's still talking about the same 3 plays, by the way.
You see, he's going through the line, and when they hand him the ball, what he's going to try to do is go forward through that hole, and what Steelers are going to try to do is say, "No, you can't. Yins can't come through this hole. Yins got to
Because it's Carpath
get on the
only.
ground." Yeah, it's Carpath though. This is a run only hole, and so
Carpath only.
Car-
What do you know about
Carpath
Peyton Wilson? So doesn't have a knee, or is
has neither knees. He's
Neither
all ankles and torso.
so he's been the first guy on the field every day for training camp and the last guy to leave. And they asked him
Oh.
about that in an interview, and he was like, "Let me stop you right there. This is not something I'm trying to do. I have like a very specific routine because of my injuries and because of just my experience. Like I have a little bit longer of a routine. That's the only reason that's happening." And I fell in love with him, like love at first sight. That was just such a great answer. And he's like, because the kind of guy who other teammates look to as an inspiration, like that's exactly what he would say.
I see.
I'm in love.
But what
Look at
is?
him.
I thought he was just like coming out in the field and sitting there.
Yeah, that's exactly
Before
it.
the-
He's doing it right now. What do you mean
He's
he's just
stopped.
coming out there and sitting there?
That's what I thought I read. He's the first one I practice. He just sits on the bench for 20 minutes and
Yeah, it's part of his visualization process, bro.
all right. Sounds like a lot of sleeping in the office type of. That's why NFL loves him.
So
Sleep
I
in the
thought
office.
that too, but his answer made me really encourage me. Also, no fanfare. 2 black gloves, empty sleeves. When have you ever seen that from a linebacker?
What do you mean empty sleeves? No.
Look at his
Oh,
arms.
like
His arms are bare.
he's got bare arms.
Yeah, he just circled them. He's got bare arms.
He's got the right to bear arms. You're like, you see, that's Peyton Wilson, and that's the guy he's going to tackle. And so he's going to look at these 2 guys with their heads, them's
there's
heads.
people in between them though.
Yeah, these 2 guys is in between them. It's just the same play over and over again.
Let's see.
And see, yeah, I snapped the ball and I'm going to pause it and rewind it real quick, just because I want you to see something. So it's pause. I got to rewind it because you can see here 64.
See that inside leverage? Now he
And
ran
now-
into the hole, but this other guy, 31, he runs to run into that same hole.
Them's not Them's ain't doing it right. And so Peyton Wilson's going to do it. He's going to he got there. He's got looking at him. Say, hey, 31. My name's Peyton Wilson. What's your name?
I like the
then a
ESPN
collision.
overexcited analysts. So you're going to see him get here. He's going to break down. He's going to get into his stance. He hands him the ball. 1, 2, 3, tackle. That's how it's done. That's how it's done, folks. So here,
Collision.
the ball. 1, 2, 3, impact.
It is
That's
a
it.
collision sport, and this is a collision.
Drive him back a few yards, wrap up, get back into the huddle. That's what we like to see from number 41
right.
of the Steelers, Peyton Wilson. Here it comes
All
again.
business.
Boom.
1, 2, and go. Because 1, 2, and go. One cut
Yeah.
up the field.
I mean, I'm not kidding about the, if jerseys didn't cost $175, and if I hadn't bought a Kenny Pickett jersey last year, I'd definitely be on the number 41 train. But oh God, could
This
you imagine
changes
what this
everything.
video is? Whatever it is, I can assure you it changes nothing.
All right. Saturday morning inspection. Nice.
Yeah. So Peyton Wilson,
but
I'm all on the Peyton train.
see your boy
train.
Elon talking to
Allison and I were doing
DJT.
a fun game the other day. If Trump wasn't himself, what nickname would he give Trump? So his nicknames, they're always great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has he come up with one for Kamala yet?
No, he
I don't
can't.
think I've heard one.
He can't come up with one.
I'm
that
sure he's
isn't
come up
going
with a few.
yeah, right. That's what I mean. He can't. He's been workshopping a few, but he can't present.
He can
any
make
of them.
fun of her laugh. He can make fun of her dorkiness. He can make fun of her.
He really
Man, it's
can't,
pretty,
man.
Pretty short list, yeah.
You can't make fun of her. I mean, I heard her laugh. I think it's cool. I don't dislike her laugh. Who
Well, that's what I
dislikes
mean.
her
I
laugh?
think that's what makes it fair game. But it's loud and it's notable.
It's
something
great.
that's often parodied. I'm just saying that that could be one of his targets.
But here's the thing. If Donald Trump comes out and is like, she laughs weird, it's like, dude, stop it. You're a white. You can't be a white man and make fun of a woman's laugh. It just doesn't work.
I don't think he knows that though, or at least he doesn't accept it.
He doesn't. He can't help himself. All they have to do to win this election, Kamala, is to just keep posting pictures of their crowd sizes at her rallies. That's it. That's the only thing that they need to do. And he will never get off of that topic because he just can't handle it.
That's right. Photoshop them. Make them bigger than they are. They're probably already doing that.
I mean, yeah. Why not?
Even better. Like show huge crowd sizes and cheat at it.
And just make it blatant. And don't actually even present it as what actually happened. Just he won't know the difference.
That's correct.
And that'll occupy his entire day.
With rage to even discern the difference. That's a really smart strategy, Rich. I think that's brilliant.
I heard Elon and him talking, and Elon saying, I really fear for the way this country's going if she gets elected. And I thought to myself, and obviously Donald agrees. And I thought to myself, if there is one group of people that I want to be misaligned with, from on every way I live my life, every value, it's billionaires. I want nothing to do.
Technocrats. Yeah. So I think I figured old Elon's politics out, right? I've been following him on Twitter for a while, and he's a man who speaks his mind. Now, I noticed a change in him that perfectly aligns with what I now understand to be the trouble he had with his son transitioning. Are you familiar with this story?
Yeah, it's a son that's not, how old is that son?
I think it's his daughter now.
Right.
But mid-teens would be my guess. Maybe late teens. Who transitioned early. And he blames woke propaganda for that. Now, he started being an anti-woke crusader years ago, but only recently unveiled the story about his kid. And now it's impossible to look at any of his political opinions outside of that massive bias. And that's why, because he's been left leading his whole life. He's been a Democrat. He's been a supporter of Democratic Party. Now he's endorsing Trump and saying what you just repeated, that this is like all or nothing, because it is all or nothing for him. It's his child. He feels like his child was taken from him, and he's assigning blame to the Democratic ideology. No, I'm like very confident in this theory. You don't buy it?
I can understand that. Do I think that he gave a fuck about any of his kids ever? No, I don't. I don't think his child was
Oh,
taken
come
from him.
on.
He was not.
He gave
He
an
named
interview
his.
said that he felt like his child was taken from him. That is not.
Of
That's
course,
not
he
my
gave an
editorial.
interview after all of this went down.
I'm not
He
sure if I
named one of
follow
his
it. You
kids a
think-
bunch of numbers and letters that you can't pronounce. I don't want to
doesn't mean
hear
he
about
doesn't
how
care
good of
about
a
them.
I don't. Yeah, it kind of does. That you can't name your kid something that is going to destroy their life. They can't. That is like giving them a tattoo on their face. You are at a disadvantage. That it kind of means you don't care about your kid. Would you name your soon-to-be kid anything like that?
No,
Would
I
you?
mean, it's
And why
tempting,
would you?
certainly,
And-
but no.
And why would you not? And why would you not do that?
In fairness, that is not going to be an issue in that child's life. That child will have every advantage known to man. I think the letters and numbers can be endured.
So,
For me or
and
you
by-
to
and by
do
the
it
way-
would be crazy.
by the way, those
Still
aren't even
crazy
real.
for him to do it.
Some
but
of
not
them
as
are
crazy.
like some of those crazy double letter wingding things. They're not even real English liter.
You need
English,
like a
Roman English.
Egyptologist to decipher the name.
Like
Yeah, that's
wingding
weird,
is-
no doubt. But I'm not saying that he's a good dad or he's a caring dad. I'm saying that his political opinions are biased by one personal event. And now he's using his platform of massive influence to try to convince others of his way of thinking. But his way of thinking only comes from this one thing that has nothing to do with everybody else, that most people will not have to grapple with in their lives. That's my theory.
I think it's
And I think,
more.
like, it's so obvious too.
Yeah, I would say most people's beliefs are rooted in experiences that they've
course.
had personally,
But
right?
he doesn't seem aware of it, which is why I'm annoyed.
I think that I would bet that I understand what you're saying, but I think that if there is, I would really, maybe that's what he can present as the reason for his new political agenda.
But he isn't
But-
presenting that as the reason.
Okay. You're thinking that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm thinking
I
that's
would
what it
bet
is, right.
that it's probably more that they want to tax billionaires at whatever rate. Special tax for anyone who has over $1 billion.
I don't think so, man. He's been very vocal about being one of the paying more tax than anyone else on the country. Like, I don't think he gives a shit about that. What's the difference? What's the difference between 35 billion and 21 billion?
I don't know.
Do you think that you really think that's what
Four-
it is? You think he cares
four-
about taxes?
14 billion is the answer.
Good. That was good. Like,
I
he
don't
doesn't
know,
give a
maybe
shit
you're right.
about that.
Maybe you're right.
The guy with that much money, like, the only thing that can get him motivated is something that hits very close to home.
Well, but let's
Taxes
put
ain't gonna do it.
Okay. Well, let's throw a couple other things against the wall. Here's one of them. X is now hemorrhaging money, right? Advertisers are pulling
Yeah.
Pulling
he's
shit.
launched a jihad against advertisers, which doesn't help.
that maybe not the best strategic move, but
Right.
he did it.
Yeah.
So he says, well, listen, if I get Donald Trump back on using X and I endorse him and we have this big thing, people are going to tune in. He's going to start posting on X more.
Well, I think it might have been in order to get Trump back, he needed to endorse him. Is that
yeah,
what you're
maybe.
saying? Yeah, like,
I
because
think
Trump is a
there
boon
was some
for X.
symbiosis there.
Yeah, definitely.
Symbiotic relationship.
There has to have
But
been.
yeah, something like that. Something like
He
that.
held
Maybe
out
that
way
was
too long.
Yeah.
But even though that might be true, I don't know. He's been like this for a while now, though. Like, he made a hard right turn with his politics before he owned Twitter. Maybe it was, you know what might be a contributing factor is when he bought Twitter and realized how much speech was being repressed by the left and how it was all left censorship. So that could have been that would have changed my mind. If I saw one political group like actively repressing free speech.
Yeah. I don't know how much, there's obviously I don't know. I don't want to get into that so much other than just to say it's clear that some of the free speech that they determined is free is actually harmful, and you can't just say whatever you want, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. We don't want that. That's not good. But we do need a place without censorship. Like, within reason. We can't be censoring people
there you
just
go.
because they have a different opinion. We should be censoring people for saying hateful or,
that's the thing. People are saying hateful things. You can't go on and be like, George, these specific Georgia election workers rigged the election, and then people show up at their house and you can't fucking do that. And that's what was happening. No. You and I can't go on and just pick someone at random and be like, this person.
That'd be
This
kind of
person.
funny.
No. I don't mess around with that shit. I do not. When it comes to like blowing people up just for personal gain that don't deserve it, like, man, I don't fuck around with that. That always feels bad to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't find it funny.
Yeah, I would hope so. Like, doxing
You just said
someone?
it'd be funny, and I like it's not funny.
No, I was thinking like it would be funny to just like be a guy who picks random people and ruins their lives every day. But like,
that's not funny. What are you talking about?
Of course it isn't. Of course it isn't, man. Like, that's horrible. Like, that's so horrible. Like, I'm surprised you think anyone's on the other side of that. Oh, you were reacting to me saying it was funny.
I was reacting to you saying that.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
It'd be funny. Shut the
I
fuck
was just
up.
Playing.
Dude.
I was just playing the clown. Yeah, it's terrible, dude. That's a horrible thing.
But anyway, but people could say that, like,
though,
that specifically happened, and the Georgia election where they like
random person.
No, these people had some sort of role. They're volunteers for the Georgia election, and they were doxxed and harassed. I think they actually won a court case against this. That can't be held as free speech. You can't say, well, that's just my opinion.
Saying that's free speech?
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that was getting.
Get out of here.
I'm serious, man. Let's fucking go.
You're telling
go to the
me
internet.
That the people who doxed someone tried to defend themselves by saying that was free speech?
It's not the specific doxing. It's the people that kept pushing this. Hey, person A did this. I have proof that they are connected to these people, and it's all made up. It's all bullshit. But those are the kinds of things they're like, well, that's free speech. I just said it. And so, I didn't do anything.
I didn't know that this action was going to be taken. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Like, I didn't know the person was going to be harassed. I just was releasing my findings into the world. Well, that's just called lying. That's not free speech or not free speech. That's just someone being dishonest.
So where do you draw that line? Is it someone who that's where it's like, Elon's like, oh, all these people were on there spouting lies and it was getting censored for the safety of others, right? It was not just because they're not true, right? You can say like the sky's green and you're not going to get.
This is not what I was talking about when I said that Elon might have been turned off by censorship. Are you familiar with the Twitter files?
No.
You should look into it. It's interesting stuff. Basically, anybody who disagreed with the political opinions of the owners and operators of Twitter, they blocked and banned. so that you could not find another perspective on Twitter other than what these guys explicitly believed. That's what I'm referring to,
Okay.
which is, I get it. They owned a company. They were not under any obligation to make it unbiased. I'm sure it was in their end user agreement, their TOS, to bring it back full circle. And they did what they wanted to do. And I think Elon may have been coming from a place of naivete, thinking like, oh, this is a great website. Everyone just agrees with me, only to find out that there really was no forum for Americans to have healthy political discourse without it being moderated or biased towards one party. And that's why he bought the company. So maybe that has more to do with it, but I still think it's about the kid.
Maybe.
It's weird for someone to make that big of a political turn, especially later in life.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't
what
know.
you're talking about
Someone
is
said
disgusting. No question.
Right.
I think we got our signals crossed there. Like, that is horrible.
Yeah,
And
that's
ridiculous that they would even try to call it free speech. Like, doxing is
Well, doxing is different. I think there's no one who's saying doxing is free speech, but when you're constantly fanning the flames against someone who it did nothing wrong publicly, that's fucking you can't. That's harmful. You can't say that was free speech. Just exercising your right of free speech. It's like yelling fire in a movie theater, right? That's
the same exact thing. You're saying things to bring harm to others intentionally.
And that Georgia election worker was that case was the one that bankrupted Rudy Giuliani.
Really?
Because he and a bunch of other Republicans, and then, obviously it's not just them, it's people. Well, he was the one. He was saying these two, definitely something
he
up
was
with
the one
these
who
two.
singled out the election workers or piled on.
He's the one who got the fucking judgment against him. He really is. How did talk about a fall from grace, man?
Guess, yeah. It's funny, man, how that works, right? Like, I think he was a piece of shit all along. Most likely.
Oops.
And
I think my internet's slow.
Just became a hero in 9/11. You want to hear another one of my random musings?
Yeah, let's hear them.
Okay. So deep thoughts with Josh Selkovitz. Do you think about I like thinking about micro and macro impacts, right? That's like a big thought pattern of mine. Whenever I see something interesting, to like project the macro impact of it. So what do you think the long-term impact of, the internet's created like little fiefdoms of its own? Like, there are people on websites, message boards, Reddit, Twitter, and not even just the major platforms, but Amazon reviews, Google reviews, who wield a tremendous amount of power and are completely anonymous. And I would assume, like how we moved out of caves as people, then we got into villages, and there were a bunch of little stores. There was the candle maker and the butcher and the smithy. And then eventually those 50 small businesses became 3 major businesses. I wonder what the long-term impact of these little fiefdoms is. Like, we've never had a society where anonymous people wield this much power. Anyway, that's the musing. I'd love to hear your take on this.
Yes. Understood. I don't know, man. Next topic. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I thought it was interesting.
Wield this much power.
It is, man. It's a lot
how
of power.
It is. The different, well, that's fine. I mean, like, you have all these people, like, one sec.
Like they can get restaurant reservations wherever they want if they just
Yeah.
by reviewing every restaurant they've ever been to.
But that means they're not anonymous. I mean, if you're seeing them in person, if they exist in real life, you know,
But
what I mean?
we'll
If you're
never know who they are. They'll matter in certain communities, but we don't know who the hell they are.
if they matter in certain communities, but I don't know who the hell they are, then they're not. I'm not worried about their fiefdomness. Like Mr. Beast, right? He's a great example. That guy's got a lot of money and he's throwing it around and he's doing, but there are so many people who don't know who Mr. Beast is. So in the
True.
grand scheme of things, he's not that important.
Yeah, it's true. So basically, what you're forecasting is no impact.
Zero impact.
This is a zero impact issue. I think
That's always been true,
a
man.
shower thought.
Yeah.
Sounds like a shower thought, doesn't it?
I do some good thinking in the shower.
Why don't you dazzle me with one of your nuggets of wisdom?
What have I been thinking about lately? Let's see. It's cart path only. That was what I had.
That was taking up a lot of space.
That was mine. Yeah, I was like, don't forget that. Make sure you bring that up.
How'd you shoot?
81.
Ooh,
It's okay.
a bit high for you.
Yeah, it was fine. I didn't putt very well. You know what's funny is so we were sitting at the pool the day before, Sarah and I, and there across the pool was this group of people probably our age, maybe like late 30s, so a couple years younger. No kids, but it was a bunch of couples. You could kind of tell they were there for the weekend on a couples trip. 4 or 5 couples, and the girls were hanging around the pool, and then the guys showed up, and they had obviously just played golf, and the girls, everyone got in the pool, and they were just kind of hanging out, and you could tell that there were people who were, I don't know, man. I watch those dynamics, and it just fascinates me. You could tell there were people who were kind of more marginally friends, or like the guy was the boyfriend of the girl who was friends with the girls group and stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't a core friend group. There were many dynamics at play.
But there were some
that kind of people.
You could tell that maybe they had known each other for a while, and so the guys were closer to everyone. But then this one, and so one of the girls asked the guy. I could tell he was kind of out of the core. She goes like, "Well, how was, just being nice? Like, how was the round of golf?" And he goes, "I'll tell you what, it was. It ended better than it started, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I played okay, And then
that girl wanted a one-word answer, max.
That's right. Oh, it was good. No, he goes, and to his credit, he didn't give a long-winded answer, but he had to say something other than just good. He was like, it ended better than it started. I'll just say that, And then they went back to him not talking to anyone and she talking to everyone. I was like, I love this. And that's such a guy way to talk about a round of golf. It ended better than it started.
I've
got my
said
money's
that
worth
many times. I shot an 87 on Saturday, Rich. I'm nipping at your heels.
I don't remember asking, but congratulations.
Thanks, man. It was a par 65 course. So,
okay.
A little bit
a little
different than your
22
81.
over.
Yeah. What pool were you at?
We were at Bedford Springs. We spent the night in Bedford Springs.
Bedford Springs has a pool?
Yeah.
Nice. Where were you down there at semicolon Woodlands?
Semicolon Woodlands, down near that John Daly. They got that John Daly statue down there.
You ever been there, semicolon?
Once, a long time ago.
Is it nice?
It was too long ago for me to remember. But what I will say is that we have friends that were looking for just a place to drive to get out of town for the weekend.
Yeah.
And they saw, they thought of Nemacolin. Let's try it. And it was like $1,400 a night.
It's not cheap, man. Well, first of all, every place, we wanted to do. You know what a baby moon is? It's like close to the baby. You take your wife away for the weekend somewhere, like to
Yeah.
relax before the baby comes. So we want to do a baby moon, and we were looking at Jersey Shore. We looked at Semicolon, places like that. Kind of drop and flop, hang out, resorty places.
Yep.
We
Drop
ended
and
up going to a place an hour away. I heard that on our honeymoon. A woman who was talk about like people watching and dynamics. We met a woman at the pool. We couldn't decide where to go for our honeymoon, and we ended up going to a place that was so expensive that we didn't belong. We went there
Yeah.
during the last week of their season, which is the only way we could afford it. We stayed in their worst room, and it was barely affordable. So imagine the kind of people that were there, right?
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
one woman at the pool that we met who is in the south of France, and she was like a vacation consultant, or I don't know. And she used the term drop and flop, and now we always make fun of her and mention it. Anyway, we went to a drop and flop about an hour away, which was like $650 a night at a place called Crystal Springs in New York, which is like a golf resort.
Yep.
Everywhere we looked at. Jersey Shore, $1,500 a night for like a place that didn't even have a pool. God forbid you wanted to go to
Yeah.
like Martha's Vineyard, Cape Cod, Nantucket.
Fuck that
$3,000 a night. Hotels are out of control expensive.
So when you went to this other resort, like,
Yeah.
did you have trouble getting a spot at the pool or anything like that? Was it
we actually
crowded?
loved it. We went up on Sunday night and stayed at
Oh,
the pool
okay.
all day. There's like 4 or 5 restaurants on site. It was perfect. It was really like I joked and kept singing that song. Perfect day, nothing standing in my way. The perfect day, nothing can go wrong.
So you can get a
Perfect
just-
day. Yeah, that's a
yeah, it's very I feel like that's an MTV show song
rom-com-y.
for like
Yeah.
like the OC. Not
Yeah.
the OC, Laguna Beach. Remember that show?
Laguna Beach song. So we felt like Laguna Beach kind of people.
So you can get a room and Nemicolon, the cheapest one, for a 3-day weekend, checking in this next Friday, leaving Sunday. The cheapest one is $902. That's a
What does that get
2-queen.
you? A parking lot view 2-queen room?
Yep. Falling Rock accessible luxury double.
Falling Rock accessible. It's a handicap accessible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how do you feel when you get a handicap accessible room? What are your thoughts on that? Is it a win?
I don't-
Is it a loss?
I don't mind it.
Either?
It depends. If I'm spending, I guess it's where I am.
What
If I'm
it's a
going, if I'm
business
traveling
trip?
for work, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, I really don't
I'm
care
not
where
like-
I stay if it's a business trip.
Yeah, I'm not staying at. If I'm staying at for a business trip, I'm not staying at anywhere nicer that I'm not even staying in hotels nice enough that have showers that aren't in bathtubs. If that makes sense.
Oh wow, your company is real strict on that, huh?
I get $500 a night, man. It's not that you can't get a lot for $500 a night.
This is the
and,
problem
I guess
with
the one
static city caps, Rich.
yeah, you tell me.
You need
You got it.
dynamic policy.
I guess the one that I used to stay in mostly in Chicago I can't remember if it had a shower bathtub or not.
For $500 a night, you should be able to stay at like a Hilton or a W or
Yeah. No. Well, it depends. When
Marriott.
when I'm going to Chicago in February, I can stay where the fuck I want. When I'm going in
Yeah.
August, I can't stay anywhere.
yeah,
Courtyard Marriott.
yeah.
I stayed at a Moxie. You ever been in one of those?
Unfortunately, yeah.
It was okay. It was not great. And that was an accessible room actually. It's
Yeah,
just the whole bathroom was wet. Everything was
yeah.
like the water was
Wet room.
everywhere.
It's not a bathroom; it's a wet room.
That's right. Yeah, you got to take off shoes and socks if you want to try to go, or all your clothes basically if you're trying to go to the bathroom.
And they give you that little washcloth as a bath mat to sop up the. I feel like every hotel I stay in that is a standing shower is like they've just completely disregarded the water control. And I
Yeah.
end up with like 3 towels that are soaking wet because I didn't realize the water was running out onto the bathroom floor. That happens a lot.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Get it together, Moxie. That place was
I
a little too funky for me.
Yeah, it's too cutesy. I don't like that crap. Get that crap out of here. I love a hotel that caters to business travelers, right? They leave the room
Yeah.
service for breakfast. You hang it on the door like it's like a well-oiled machine. You know what I did for the
Marriott,
first
flagship
time when I was
Marriott.
in Atlanta? Uh,
What?
I took the ice bucket in my room and I went and filled it up at the machine on the hall and on my floor. When was the last time you did that?
I don't think I've ever done that. I
Yeah.
don't know that I've ever done that. How
Yeah,
how
it
was
was
that?
it
How was that
was
experience?
novel. It was novel. It was good. It was fucking hot, man. It was Atlanta in July, and I was
Mhm.
dying after a day of being on my feet for 10 hours in a suit, and all I wanted was like a cold water. And I made that happen.
Give me a cold water. So what did you get? A water? You filled it up with ice and you just fill it from the sink?
No. It was a W, so I had complimentary bottles of water. Or maybe they weren't complimentary. I don't know. Either way, that's and then I used one of the little glasses they give you, which are probably disgusting. And the ice, which is
really.
also probably teeming with bacteria. And I had myself a nice little bacteria colada. Yeah. It was quite a treat.
Little bacteria colada.
Yeah, a little way to wind down.
How's Allison doing?
Boy, she's good. She's
Loaded.
fine. Everything's good. Baby's good. We just had a
Okay.
scan yesterday. You want to see this picture? Like,
Sure.
I don't know if our child does not like having her picture taken or if I don't know. But like we have not gotten like I've seen maybe it's just something you see in movies where like there's these beautiful sonogram pictures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what we got. And like this is consistent with we've had, more than one scan now. The fuck is that? Like I think that's the nose,
I was thinking
That's the
I thought that
nose.
was the nose. Yeah.
eye, mouth, maybe an arm here.
Yeah.
They printed this out for us. We're like, here you go.
Frame it.
Looks like a melting candle. Or
Looks like a nebulous
like what
Majora.
what is this?
The hair.
It does look like a nebulous Majora. So speaking of hair, her nebulous Majora is so big that it's causing Allison to have, I mean, heartburn is the term, but it doesn't even begin to describe.
Oh man.
Dude, she's been sleeping sitting up for like 2 weeks. And she's the stubborn type that like wants to tough everything out, doesn't believe in doctors or medicine, like just won't take a Tylenol unless she's on her knees in pain with a headache. That kind of. And so she waited she just yesterday got prescription medication for the heartburn. And like she was waking up in the middle of the night and vomiting multiple times a week.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Dude, if men had to do half of what women, like our species would have gone extinct along, like there's multiple times throughout this process where I would have tapped out easily. Like, I'm good on all this. This is a lot.
Yeah, we gave it a shot.
9 months, you say?
Yeah,
9 months.
Right. Yeah, we did. It's not for me.
I can give you 3 or 4 good months, but I don't know about anything beyond that.
I'm gonna need someone to. Yeah, 9 months is a long time. You put it that way.
It's a fucking marathon, man. I don't know. Like I have a whole new level of respect for that woman and all women. It's just an incredible thing. It's cool though. It's interesting. Like you can see the baby moving now outside. Like you can see like in a horror movie when like a handprint would press up against the wall. It looks just like that. It's really, it's wild.
Wow.
But starting to get excited, I think the nerves have mostly passed. I feel prepared. Installed the car seat, got a hook up the baby monitor, nursery's ready.
Nice, man.
I guess I could have never thought about this until being in this position, but like my world is going to be upended.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to prepare for mentally. It's a weird thing to know is coming, right? Usually things that
Right.
like jar your life, you don't know they're coming, but it's a really weird. It's been a mental gymnastics trying to figure out like how to get in the right place for this. And really, I don't think there is a way. You just kind of have to take what comes. Also,
just
I was
deal with it.
thinking yesterday, like I'm 42 years old, right? Like, what am I clinging to? What am I doing right now that's so wonderful that I can't take a little disruption in my life?
That's right. I agree with that.
So,
Yeah,
bring
it'll
it on.
be. Yeah, it has to be a good thing. It won't be a bad thing.
I don't think so, but I think it will definitely involve some adjustments. Yeah,
I don't think so. I think you'll just be able to do exactly what you've been doing.
I think so too.
Totally.
I think the first few weeks will be. No, I really do. Like, I think ultimately I will be able to. Like, it's not going to be as I don't know. It'll be big changes, but like just to my routine.
It's one
Still
of those
gonna have the
things.
same interest in the same person.
You get these people who say like, "Oh, changes everything." It's like, no,
Yeah.
just shut up. You didn't do anything in before. Now you have something to do. That's what
right.
changed for you. Like
That's right.
your thing was going to bars and getting drunk. Yeah, you
Right.
can't do that anymore. Stop it. I don't want to hear it that it's I don't know, but that just every time I hear those kinds of things, it's like you're just trying to
Yeah.
make it sound like you accomplished something that no one could understand. So I don't want to fucking
Like
hear it.
I could imagine this being really disruptive had it happened when you're supposed to have kids, like when you're in your
Right.
20s or early 30s,
When
right?
biologically it's supposed to happen.
At this point, like, okay,
Yeah, right.
yeah, sure, I've got time. I'm not. This is not cutting into my anything else time.
Yeah, this is not a hindrance socially.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. Glad to
So
hear
glad
it.
I didn't have a kid when I was young. What a disaster that would have been for that poor child.
Yeah, that would have been. I always think about that. Like, what if I had a kid when I was 23?
Yeah. You think it would have
Right.
forced you to grow up sooner? Or do you think you would have like gone through the same growing pains you did?
I
There
definitely
would have
would.
been a
My
kid to
life
bear witness.
would have been totally different. And I don't think I'd be anywhere near as far in my career as I am now. I don't think I would have had to. It would have just been. It would have been really bad. I don't know what I would have. You have a kid when you're that age, you're moving to the edge of the burbs or living in an apartment, right? Like
Whatever you can afford. Yeah.
forever. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know how you get ahead at that point.
It's a good point. It's a really good point. Yeah. Financially speaking, it's been a smart decision, but
Right.
I'll be 60 when this kid graduates high school.
Yeah.
60. How old were your folks when you graduated high school? Do you remember?
I don't know. My mom just
40
turned
still,
70,
right?
so 20, she's 28 years older. So what, like 30, 46, 46 and 47?
That's four years from now for me.
I know. When I put it
Nuts.
that way, it's like, oh, Jesus.
So that's why I've rededicated myself over the last 18 months to regular exercise, and like I have to now. That's a bummer.
It's too bad.
Got to take care of myself.
You have to exercise on purpose. Well, it'd be cool, man. We got like another month till the due date.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, month, unless it comes early.
Right.
When we
You're
were
in the
at
red
that-
zone at this point.
When we were at that, yeah, we're in the red zone. We were at that pool. A lady was like, the other thing that's fascinating about this whole pregnancy thing is like, it's if you play your cards right as the man, there are some real perks involved here. You get a lot of like special treatment. And I think I told you about this for the baby shower, how the women were just like buzzing about the baby. They were all, there was like 7 women from her family standing around an empty crib, like chanting and stirring in a cauldron, like, ooh, the baby's coming, the baby's
right.
coming, the baby. But strangers out in the wild, women, sometimes men, but really women, will cross the street to express their excitement. Oh, and like it really brings out the best in people. Like you don't have
Interesting.
no one has many good interactions with strangers, but the number of like heartfelt, true interactions I've had with people who have just told me their story or just expressed like their love and it's really cool. Like it's cool to see that this is something that everyone can like rally around and be excited about. And it's like a good, I don't know, that part's nice. And
That's awesome.
if you're out with people, it's like, she's pregnant. We got to get home. Sorry.
Yeah. Built-in excuse.
We better be getting home. She's pregnant wife. You know it is. Or like if we're at a restaurant, I'm like, look, I know you said it's an hour for a wait. My wife's pregnant. She's really hungry. Like top of the list, no problem. It's been really fun to exploit.
Well, there you have it.
I'll leave you with this. I went to a restaurant recently, last weekend. It's been a long time since I've been to this restaurant, and I'm going to see if you can guess it by the way I describe it. It's a chain. I forget the group that owns it. Riverside or Hills Crest? I don't know.
Those fucking nursing homes.
I don't know. That's like the
Riverside,
restaurant group,
Hillcrest.
like Darden or Landry's. It does a really good job of trying to please everyone without looking like they're trying to please everyone. Classic American food, a little bit upscale, but you don't have to worry about what you're wearing. There's no theme to it, but the name would maybe make you think you're never going to guess this. This is a bad game. Houston's.
Houlihan's.
Close. Houston's. Houston's is like upscale Houlihan's.
Houston's. Nah, I don't know Houston's at all.
There's one in Georgetown. I've been to it. And it's like we went at like 5:45 last Friday, and there was already an hour and 20-minute wait, which is what I'm referring to when I got to the top of the wait list. It's a very popular restaurant. It's like remember when that Outback opened in Upper St. Clair, the one I worked at?
Yeah.
How it was always like an hour wait.
I don't remember waiting an hour for an Outback Steakhouse. Jesus
Many people
Christ.
did. And I did I ever tell you I took bribes
No.
to bump people up the seating list? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sure. That's how you
Easily.
do it, man.
Easy
You
money.
work on tips.
So
How much would someone give you to
well
go to the top of the line for
when
in
it
an
was
hour?
really hot? When it was really hot, like when it was the place to be in Upper St. Clair, which definitely, I guess you missed out on that, but it was definitely a thing. So this was like our junior year of high school. A guy asked me, he was like, hey, how much would it take to get us seated now? And I think I said something like, well, it better have 3 digits. And he said, no problem. So it was $100 in 1998.
Yeah.
It's at the top of the Outback Steakhouse wait list.
That's crazy. I don't remember that. But man, good for you.
I want you to go to Houston's for you. This is a gift I'm giving you, and get their French dip sandwich.
Houston's French dip sandwich. Let's see.
They make these French brioche rolls in-house. The roast beef was perfect. The au jus was They give you the horseradish with it. French fries.
There's a New York Times article about it.
So I read it. I read that and I was like,
You
oh
did.
my God, I haven't been to Houston's in so long. And immediately went to Houston's and had that sandwich. And my God, is it good.
I've never heard of Houston's.
There's probably a few around you. Because I think there's a high concentration of them in the DC area.
I've never heard of this place. Let me see.
Or
Houston's
maybe just there's that
locations.
one in Georgetown that I'm familiar with. Like, don't you ever crave like an American chain restaurant?
I don't see any of these.
Just pull up a map and
Houston.
search Houston's near me.
I am Houston's locations. It's
You can
got
at least see the one in Georgetown.
There is none in Georgetown. There's 2 in Atlanta. There's Bergen County. I'm assuming that's the one you went to.
Yeah, that's correct.
Riverside Square. Here, I'll show you. Straight from the source.
Maybe it's not. I mean, I went there when I was in high school. Hillstone
Oh,
Restaurant
yeah.
Group. That's what it is. Hillstone Restaurant Group.
I've never heard of this place.
Well, when you're right, Rich. So there used to be a Houston's in Georgetown. What happened to and like I can't imagine one of these places closing. March 27th, 2001.
Yeah. Okay.
After 18 years in business. They tried to extend their lease but was unsuccessful. Corporate officials said the restaurant needed renovations and the property no longer fit the company's brand image. The restaurant had issues such as a shaky staircase and plumbing problems.
I wonder what it changed to.
That's the
Woodmont
WG.
Grill.
Yeah.
Sorry?
What a stupid name for a restaurant.
What?
Woodmont Grill.
Yeah, I've actually eaten there. It's okay.
I would not want to eat there.
It's alright. It's like a Houston's.
Well, then you're going to have to wait until you visit New Jersey to get. Well, I thought there were like 200 of these across America, and there's like 10.
I wonder if the one in Georgetown is now Clyde's, which is where we had our rehearsal dinner. I'm sure it doesn't look the same, but I wonder because that's a big restaurant.
It might be. I mean, I went there in high school, obviously. So
Yeah, this is where you were there, obviously.
Yeah, I remember that. I liked that place a lot. Dude, your whole wedding was so cool. Like it was so cool. It's one of my favorite weddings. And like, I mean, you're a close friend, obviously. So like I was emotionally involved in the day, but like, and I met Jose there.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think I had just started dating Allison. We were dating for like a year, maybe. What year did you get married?
17.
Yeah. So we had just started dating. That was a really good time. I have fond memories of that wedding. It was good to see your folks.
Yeah.
Good people.
I take no credit for anyone's good experience at that wedding. I did nothing.
Were you consulted?
Sarah, yeah, but she's the one who pulled it off for sure.
Were your opinions met with like did she stop asking for your opinions at some point?
Yeah.
Because you just didn't get it?
I was so messed up at that point. That was when I was sick, and so like my head was just not right. So yeah, she did all of that by herself, and she pulled it off. So yeah, it was awesome. I thought it was a good wedding too.
You had a good time?
I had a good time at my own wedding. I do remember like leaving. We were at the bar afterwards and just being like, we gotta go. I'm gonna fall asleep here at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was a long time.
You were still reeling.
Yeah, it was great though. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah,
and you were heavily featured also. I'm sure that has something to do with your opinion of the wedding.
Of course, that's what I meant. Like, I was close to the action. being heavily featured never hurts anyone.
No, especially not
I'm
Josh.
looking at my pictures to see if I can find any, but this is gonna take too. Yeah, I've never disliked attention. or
you want to move to the top of the wait list? It's gonna be 3 figures. Leave it like, all right, I'll give you exactly 3 figures.
What a dorky loser I am.
I know. Like, okay, what do you want? 100? Do you want $100? Do you want $120? Like,
What's this going to take to get you out of my way? Better
Gatekeeper.
yet, like, why did that guy in 1998? Why was he willing to spend $100 to get to the top? Like, I'm gonna guess
Where
that
else you
guy's in
going?
financial trouble right now.
going to Houlihan's, Kings.
Yeah, those are the
Kings was nearby, right? Kings was just down the street. I think.
Yeah, it was. It was round the bend, if you will.
We never ate at Kings. Very rarely did we eat
Only
at
time I
Kings.
went there was with Aaron. Every time I went there was with Aaron Bernard. Get the apple
Never
pie
ate
and
at
some ice cream.
Houlihan's. I say never. Very rarely ate at Houlihan's. We would, if we were going somewhere, we'd go to TGI Fridays.
Yeah, that was my favorite spot too. It was a Selkowitz family favorite spot. The Houlihan's that kept burning down by South Hills Village.
Yeah, continuously burning down. Certainly, at that point, we didn't think that there was anything going. Like, oh man, they're just unlucky. It's like the
Yeah,
owners
boy.
in there setting fires.
Is that what happened?
I'm guessing. I don't know. Some place burns down more than once. It's probably an issue with insurance.
Yeah.
Just a guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something's up. That's for sure.
All right. I think it's time to call it.
Yeah, buddy.
Friday. Maybe we'll have a talk about Brennan Ayuk. I'm sure something else in the election cycle will have happened in the next 48 hours.
My theory is he's re-signing with San Francisco.
I think you're right. We shall see.
We shall see.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
Later.
Thank you.